Good morning, folks. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Of course, we are in the middle of a situation in America right now. I mean, even though it's not being fought here, um, we're still in we got our own situations happening here at home. And of course, this week, uh, Congress is supposed to be taking a vote on war powers. But we'll see what happens with that. First of all, I want to say good morning to everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Happy Monday. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Hey, Ida, good morning to you. And I think I missed somebody else. Good morning, smiley face. Hey there. Good morning, little Kiki. Good morning to you, beautiful. Good morning, Eugene. I know I saw this morning. I said, right on time. Good morning, Tiffany. Good morning, Divizzy. Good morning, Kusha Vansha. Good morning to you. Good morning, Angela. Glad to see you here this morning, Angela. Good morning, Miss Chinchi. Good morning, Miss Kishara. We're going to talk about a whole host of things this morning, not just freaking politics, okay? Not just politics, not just the stuff just happening in the world. We talking about a whole host of things, especially since I spent yesterday and the day before watching more of this season's Bridgerton, honey. And I've been like, okay. Let me tell you something. The queen never fails to disappoint every damn season. Her outfits, her hair, love it. Love the relationship between the queen and Lady Danbury. Love it. Off the subject, one Saturday, can you pickle some beets or turnips or anything? Okay, let me write a note on that. I actually like pickled beets. I've never had pickled turnips. My daughter wants me to make, make her some pickle chips, like dehydrate some pickles for her to make pickle chips. Because what I did over the weekend was I made sweet potato jerky for the dog. And she really loved that. So, catch up on Bridgerton, girl. You will love Bridgerton. Oh, I love Mediterranean food. I love Mediterranean food. I love Indian food. I love all types of food. All types of food. Like all types of food. I love it. I love it. If it's good and it tastes good and it has great seasoning, I'm going to eat it. I didn't even eat yesterday. I mean, not eat. I didn't even cook Sunday dinner yesterday because the oldest kid wasn't home. The youngest kid had to work. So I didn't even cook yesterday. I was like, fuck it. I just ate. Can I be honest? I ate junk food and watched Bridgerton. Sure did. Because y'all remember that chocolate cake I made for the kid on Saturday. I ate another bite of that chocolate cake. And I sat up there and watched Bridgerton and sat there and yelled at the screen, no. So we'll talk a little bit about that towards the end. But I was like, man, I swear, Bridgerton is one of the best scripted shows on television. I stand by that. Oh, you did ribs. Yes. Oh, I know y'all was eating good up in there with street corn and a baked bean and pecan pie. Listen, you was cooking it up yesterday. Miss Chichi, I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed watching Bridgerton. Bridgerton is basically a soap opera set in medieval times. You too, Mika, I love Bridgerton. Let me tell you something. You know, one of the things I love about Bridgerton, race is irrelevant. I love that. We're talking class. We're talking class. What family were you born in? Fuck the color of your skin. We're talking class. I love that. I'd rather have that discussion than race. Because quiet is kept, as you can see on Bridgerton, race is kind of, nobody cares. I wish that's how it was too, but I love watching it. And listen, the Bridgerton family is messy. I just did a video this morning. We're going to talk towards the end about this damn Benedict Bridgerton. He is a 304. Oh my God, this season he been 304 and more than he's ever 304 in his life. I'm sitting up here like, when your mama got to come to your house, honey, and you 304, and she sees the 304s in your house, and your mama's like, I know my son's a 304. He is. That man has never met an encounter he's willing to turn down. Even the guy that was like coming at him and he was like, I don't really have time for that. He still got down with the get down. You know why? Because he always makes time for what he want to make time for. Hey, Kiara, good morning to you. He always wants to make time for what he want to make time for. It's always that. It's always that. He always want to make time for what he want to make time for. Nothing more, nothing less. Nothing more, nothing less. All right, so a couple things. Did y'all see this weekend how Bill Gates said he was sorry again because one of the women that he was seeing also had an affiliation with a Russian spy? I'm leaning more and more that Epstein was a honeypot. I'm leaning more and more in that Epstein was a honeypot designed to draw in the most rich and the most powerful. And since most men, not all, but most men lack discipline, right? Most men lack discipline when it comes to women. Okay. I said what I said. He got caught up. He got caught up. And he can apologize all he wants. At the end of the day, he's only apologizing because we found out. If we didn't find out, well, he wouldn't be apologizing at all. So, doesn't really matter. Because at the end of it all, he was still a part of it. Now, I didn't even realize my phone was ringing. Okay, so my question is this. Y'all remember before the election how so many people were saying, hey, if you vote for Kamala Harris, you're voting for new wars. You're voting for us to having constant engagement overseas. Notice how those people are so quiet. I always tell y'all, when Republicans say things, they're projecting. Fabio, we just started talking about it. That's how I know you're a bot. 0 followers already in here with your speaking points. Blocked. Bye, Fabio. I like the real Fabio with the really long hair and the big broad shoulders. I don't like those little skinny Fabios. Blocked. Anyone who voted for him better. Listen, you know what I say? Anybody who voted for Trump, when they gonna start drafting folks and yanking folks, they need to be the first ones up. It seems to me, those with red hats are saying, well, we're willing to do what's necessary, right? That's how I see it. Those with red hats are saying, take me first, right? Because they're the real Americans, according to them, right? They're the real patriots. So if they're such fucking patriots, then they should go first, right? That's how I see it. They should be the very first to make those sacrifices. But I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. A lot of them, you're going to find out, a lot of those patriots, they couldn't fight. They can't even fight acid reflux, let alone fight to defend or fight or go to fight in another country. It's impossible to do that. Hey, Mother Junker, good morning. So they won't be able to, but they were the loudest. Time for them to go. Hey, Shamonia. Yeah, yes, the acid reflux. They can't fight that. So it's just no fucking way that they're going to be on the front lines. But you know who's not going to be on the front lines of any of these engagements? Rich people's children. Your kids will. My kids will. See, that's why they want us to keep having babies. See? so that they can use our children as toy soldiers and wage slaves. Well, I was at the store this weekend, right? I went to the store and I met a lady who is a waitress, right? She's a waitress at IHOP. She makes $3 an hour. $3. Three. I was like, oh my God. She said, back in the day, I used to be able to like pay my bills and still have money in my pocket. She said, now I live in a house with multiple people so that I can have some money, and even still I don't have enough money to help make ends meet. I just ain't got it. I'm always, robbing Peter to pay Paul. But I'm going in America, $3 an hour. What the fuck is somebody supposed to do with that? She's supposed to rely on tips, but we all know how America is about tipping, right? We all know how America is about tipping. It doesn't like the tip. The tip is, in America, the tip is you don't get a job in which you rely on tips. That's the tip. Because if you're relying on the goodwill of Americans to be able to pay your bills, good luck on that. Good luck on that. Good morning, Miss Dakota. Good luck on that. But when she said that to me yesterday, I was like, damn, I can't imagine living. Say it again, Dono. Can barely buy anything with that. But $3 an hour. And America calls itself such a great, prosperous country when its citizens are barely surviving. To is, I posted the calzone video. So check it out today. I got it done. I didn't get it up yesterday, but I got it up this morning. I made it my business to get it done. So it's up, and let me know if you have any questions. I put the details in the description of the video. Thank you. I love you too, beautiful. But that's the thing, y'all. Regular Americans will always make the sacrifices that the rich and powerful won't. A real leader should line up, but a real leader won't line up. Donald Trump isn't a real leader. The Republican Party aren't real leaders. They love to move soldiers around like toy soldiers. Ain't it something? They move them around like toy soldiers, but then cut their GI Bill benefits. Did you know that some of your military families are on food stamps? They're sacrificing for their country, but the government don't pay them enough money to feed their families. So they be on food stamps. That shit should be embarrassing to America. They be on food stamps, and then America cuts food stamps. Oh, congratulations to you, Anthony, being out of the ICU. Yes. You're taking it one step at a time. You're now in a regular hospital room. Congratulations to you, brother. I'm continuing to send prayers your way for a speedy recovery. Just take it, what they say, low and slow. Oh, yeah, they did mess up with mail-in ballots. They can vote, but if that sucker ain't postmarked by the right time, that vote don't count. Yep, that vote will not count. Hold on, y'all. I'm moving a little further away from my fireplace. Y'all see that fireplace trying to wear me out this morning. Oh, look, Bella's back. Y'all see? She's back. But I'm like, something gotta give. Something gotta give. Now, a prosecutor in Europe is saying that Americans will hail us as liberators the moment our subpoenas rip open every Trump Epstein email and bank record and expose Trump's central filthy role in the Epstein ring. Because they say it's also money laundering up in there too. So the Europeans are also looking to see who was moving money around illegally as well. High school band name, Just make sure you get out of your mama's basement before she passes on. She's sick of you being in there. You don't pay no bills. Blocked. I love to block them. Yep, Savage. I love to believe things that fit my narrative. Why, you mad? You mad? You mad? I got the freedom to believe whatever I want. You mad? I know you mad. Good. Good, be mad. Because you caught that block too. They always get so mad when we believe what we want. Yes, I do believe what I want. Absolutely. I have a freedom to. Remember freedom? Freedom. They love freedom except when it's everybody else. Then we're not allowed to be free. Only them. Only they can be free. Everybody else, though, we supposed to fall in line and do what they want to do. Right? Uh-huh. Okay. All right. They get so mad at me. Good. Because I look at it like this. If they weren't mad at me, that would mean that I'm not doing my job right. Uh-oh. That would mean I'm not doing my job right. Real talk. If I'm not making them mad, then I'm not doing something right. Because these people are always mad. Again, if they were winning the way they felt like they were winning. Hey, Maribel, you say going back to your other account. What happened? What happened, Maribel? Somebody was bothering you? Now, I was reading a story this morning that said unemployed Americans are struggling to find the next job. No shit, Sherlock. Trust me, I was up early this morning applying for jobs. Oh, it's jobs out there, but they funny about who they want to hire and how they want to hire, because ultimately companies want leverage. And if they can't have leverage over you, they don't want you coming into their culture. They're not having it. And they want you to work to train their AI ultimately, because ultimately they just want to get to a place where they get rid of you. It is very funny, Lane. See me laughing? No, actually you can't. I blocked you. Hey, Maribel, welcome back, beautiful. You still looking too? Yeah, me too. Applying every day. Yep, Trump says unemployment is low. Trump says groceries are low, gas is low. That's what he says. But American, what did I tell y'all? What did I tell y'all? I told y'all that they will always, what's the better way to say? The American people will buy into it as long as it aligns with what Trump says aligns with their reality. When it stops aligning with their reality, things change. And you say, I wanted to do the heart me, had coins. Oh, thank you so much, Maribel. Beautiful. I appreciate that. Do I owe you an email? Look, I haven't checked my email in days. If I do, I'll check it over there today, because I have not checked my email in days. And I want to remind y'all of something. Hold on, I'm going to make this bigger so y'all can read it, okay? Look at this. Read that. Bush Sr. crashed the economy, started a war in the Middle East. Bush 2 crashed the economy, started a war in the Middle East. Trump crashed the economy, started a war in the Middle East. I told y'all this is what Republicans do. I keep telling y'all Republicans start wars. I keep telling y'all. Only thing I know more on it is that we continue. Trump, okay, I'll say this. Notice how Trump keeps changing the goals. At first it was, we want to stop them from having WMDs. Then it was, we want to liberate the people. Then it was, Iran is meddling in our elections. It just keeps changing. Trump wanted to take Epstein out of the press. It's designed to change the narrative, the conversation, so that you'll stop asking about the Jeffrey Epstein files and you'll stop asking about Trump's affiliation with Jeffrey Epstein. That's the entire goal. That's all. All of this was about stopping you from asking those questions. Yep. Nothing about Russia, nothing about nothing. All of this shit is about stopping you from asking about the Epstein files. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And you shouldn't lose sight of the fact that, no, you still need to stay focused on it. Jeffrey Epstein being dead doesn't change anything. People are still being violated. Money, yep. And to your point, Zarvis, and the money still got moved around. Blackjack, to be honest, you know what America's doing over there? Creating more terrorism. That's what Americans are watching. You're watching them create more terrorism. But guess what? The government wants to create more terrorism. You know why? Because how can it control you if it doesn't keep creating big bad boogeymen? Right? It has to find a way to control you and keep you in fear, right? So it has to keep creating these big bad boogeymen to do that. Otherwise, you might turn your ire on to the rich, and they can't have you being mad at rich people. If it wasn't for rich people, you wouldn't have that low wage job to begin with. If it wasn't for rich people, well, your struggle couldn't be monetized if it wasn't for rich people. Y'all gonna learn. Hell, I saw that they put on one of the government buildings in DC. They have a picture of Benjamin Banneker. I forget a picture in relation to the women's suffrage movement. And then they have Charlie Kirk, and they said it's heroes up there. I love this shit. I've been telling people for the longest, okay? For the longest, right? For the longest, that America's racist as fuck. And I love that America's leaning into its racism and not hiding it no more. I love it. Honestly, I personally love it. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate that. I love it. You know why? Because now, like they said, you ain't got to learn about CRT. You ain't got to hear about DEI. You ain't got to hear about women's equality. You ain't got to hear about nothing and nobody but straight white men. I love it. Mm-hmm. America is a nation of mediocrity. And mediocre ass people were mad that they were underemployed. Yeah, America is ghetto, Tracy. America's ghetto is fuck. It's ghetto. And the unfortunate part is they don't want to see it, you know, because we want to believe this lie that America does everything right. No, it doesn't. America does a whole lot of shit wrong. A whole lot of shit wrong. Oh, I didn't know this happened. Okay. Somebody asked me some more thing. Okay, I didn't know this happened. Thank y'all so much. And I don't know if y'all knew this happened. Okay, but I wanted to put this up, you know, because he didn't serve, he dodged, but he gonna send everybody else's children to fight for his causes, right? I didn't know that apparently the military pew-pewed down their own drone, a $30 million drone. What? Listen, they just wasting our money. So we had a $30 million drone and our own military destroyed it. But we don't have health care. But we don't have health care. Okay. This is why it's important who's in charge and what our leadership looks like. Lexi, we need to follow you. No, we shouldn't, because you should use sunscreen. Blocked. Bye, Lexi. Oh, I'm up early this morning blocking MAGA. Yep. They said, fuck your health care so we can buy shiny new pieces of toys that we get to destroy with your money. Right? Because all of it's happening with our money. It's not their money. It's not their money. Real talk. It's not their money. So they don't care. Because it's not their money. It's our money. It's our money. Real talk. It is our money. Hold up, what is that? Oh, okay. I saw something. I'm like, what? It's our money that's financing all of this. Hey, Antonio, go talk to somebody who cares, beloved. You don't have to explain it to me. Go talk to the people who agree with you. Bye. I'm not doing it. Yeah, I heard about them trying to cancel government unions, and the NETU responded back to the administration and said, we don't care what you say. We're going to still continue to do what we've been doing for employees of the federal government. Just remember that. Just remember that. I want y'all to remember, in spite of this stuff happening in Iran, don't forget a couple of things. Yep, don't forget the East Wing is still gone. Don't forget we don't have any universal health care, no universal child care. College is unaffordable. Housing is unaffordable. Groceries are unaffordable. Yep, Divizzy, I heard about Europe replacing the Visa and MasterCard payment system. They're developing their own European payment system because all of their data is passing through American payment systems, which doesn't make sense. Awesome. I'm glad Spain won't allow U.S. warships to refuel, because allowing them to refuel is like saying what they're doing is okay. No, they should have to go wherever, how far ever they need to go to refuel, and then have to go all the way back. So I don't blame them. Yep, I see it now. They say U.S. aircraft leave Spain after government says bases cannot be used for Iran attacks. I know that's right. America's on its own. The only help it has is Israel. That's it. So if they're going to do this, they got to do it on their own. I'm glad. Fuck that. Y'all want to do that shit? Do it on your own. You can't do it using no resources of yours that's on our land. Or otherwise you got to go. That's not the only reason why he's doing it, though, Zarvis. He's also doing it because rich people make money doing things like this. They make money off of this shit. So a lot of it's money. A lot of it's money. Now, Trump did joke again this weekend that he should run for a third term. And I go, he too old for that. It's no way. It's no way. You can't have a nussy that big and then think that you're going to run again. Run for what? Run for what? Remember, Republicans said Joe Biden was too old. So I would think that Trump would be too old. Nah, well, listen, I'm going to vote somewhere in 2028. I don't like the fact that America is a perpetual war machine, but that's how private companies make money off of government. So private companies love war. Those military defense contractors, oh, they love war. Money. Money. Plus, war causes prices to go up. Companies love that. So then companies are able to use it as ways to just make more money off of us and our struggle and our suffering. This is the thing. We're here. You say, when will they lock him up? Oh, they're not going to just be you. I told you, you got too many people complicit on what Trump is doing. I told y'all the whole Republican Party's in agreement. I don't know why folks still aren't catching that. Folks still aren't catching that. They're still not catching it. I told y'all that they agree with it. If you want Congress to lock him up, you're going to have to get on Congress's ass to do their fucking jobs. Facts. And must you say Dems too? And some of them, not all. Chuck Schumer gotta go. Who's that other guy? John Fetterman gotta go. Oh, it's quite a few Dems that gotta go that's trying to play both sides. Gotta go. Gotta go. Got to go. Y'all remember I had told y'all about Ground News before? I can't use them no more because now they charge. I'm like, I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying for that. When y'all monetize information like that, I'm not paying for that. Sorry, not sorry. I like it, but I won't do it. Yeah, well, listen, Congress could do something, but the majority doesn't want to do anything. Yep, CNN is the new Fox because MAGA owns CNN. They bought it. They bought it. That's the thing. They say the U.S. Embassy in Beirut is urging Americans to leave Lebanon. Okay. Then Bahrain says it intercepted dozens of Iranian missiles and drones. But then Russia's Putin speaks to leaders of Qatar and Bahrain. And then we claim that Qatar is an ally. How are they an ally if they're in bed with Putin? Y'all know y'all gas about to go up, right? All the things that this fucker claims, none of that's true. None of it's true. Oh yeah, gas gonna be bad. And then by proxy, everything else goes up because gas goes up. Yep, food too. Everything gonna go up because of that. And then y'all know we had a pew pew event in Texas. 2 people unalive and 14 wounded. Then 9 more people were wounded in a Cincinnati nightclub. I'm just checking something. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I'm just looking to see what else is going on. The question I have more than anything. Well, it's not even a question. I think we all know why America and Israel are attacking Iran. I think we all know that because I firmly believe that Bibi Netanyahu knows this is his last shot. This is his last shot in getting and keeping power and influence. He knows it. He knows it. He knows it. That's how I see it. That he knows it. On this day in history, just so y'all know, as a reminder about America, so we don't forget where we are, right? So that you never forget where we are. On today, 9 months before Rosa Parks became famous, Claudette Colvin, a black high school student in Montgomery, Alabama, was arrested for refusing to give up her seat on the bus. It's 2026, and America's going hardcore in its racism. Now imagine all the people, right? Day, you know what's up? You talking to me without side teeth. Bye, beloved. Ciao. I'm telling you, America don't deal with this weak man problem. I keep saying it and I keep saying it. America got to deal with this weak man problem. Got to deal with this weak male problem. You know what I think would cure a lot of these weak men? Trump needs to draft them. Draft them and send them to war. Then maybe they'll cry less. I'm being honest. Then most of these young guys won't spend all their time online crying all the time. Maybe if they had to go fight a couple wars, put on a uniform, and get thrown out there, maybe then, I'm telling you, maybe America will change. Yep. So in this regard, I say Trump needs to, all these little young guys want to play video games all day, sit on the internet all day and shit. They need to snatch him up and send him overseas and make him fight. They will scream like a girl, Paula, but you know the beautiful thing? We won't be able to hear it over all of the weapons. We won't be able to hear their screams, so we don't care, right? Oh, no. Hey, CJ, I don't want to send Barron. Let me tell you why. Because all these little young guys and middle-aged guys who sit online and talk about how great Trump is, no, we can't send Barron. He's a rich child. These regular working class men need to sacrifice themselves for Barron. You understand? They need to sacrifice themselves for Barron. So let Barron stay home. Let Barron travel the world, chase women, do all those things that they don't get to do, right? Because they're fighting for Barron's freedom. Catch that part. See, I want to know how bad they want it. They say they so tough. Well, instead of playing Call of Duty online, why don't you be Call of Duty, right? Hey, Zarvis, we're thinking the same thing, right? You can be Call of Duty. You don't have to pretend. You can be right there in the sea of the shit. That's how I see it. Yeah, they should go to war for Trump. Yes. Tons and tons, millions of men in America say Trump's a great guy and he makes the greatest decisions. So they should be the first to go to war. Absolutely. They absolutely should go to war first. Because they agree with it, right? And I'm going to tell you how I see it. If I was Trump, I'm going to send the people who love me first, because those are the people who are going to make sure that the things that I am working toward actually happen. So I would send those people first. Wouldn't you? That's what I would do. Hey, Noonie, I would send those people first. Why not? They love me so much, right? They're going to do everything possible to make sure I'm okay. So that's what I would do. That's what I would do. Send them first. They're always going, yay, we love President Trump. President Trump's doing great things. Then go fight for it. Because troops on the ground is coming. Troops on the ground is coming. And can I tell you, I'm happy for it. A lot of military people voted for Trump. So go sacrifice your life for him. Go do it. And then when they sacrifice their life for Trump, Trump will make a mockery of them. And we should say nothing. Yep, they should wear red hats on the battlefield. I think that will help them out a lot. That's me too, Chris. I'm going to be minding my business. Yep. I'm going to be minding my business. I'm going to mind my black business. Because remember, I thought we were supposed to be America first. I don't understand how America first equals us fighting Iran. Anybody know? Anybody know? That's what I don't know. That's why I keep asking the question. That's why I keep saying, what is it that America, I ain't gonna say it like, what's the best way to say it? Whatever it is that America is chasing, it's never going to manifest. You don't manifest. Yeah, America is first at being last. We've been taking oil for a minute because, see, Iraq and Afghanistan and all that shit, that was about oil too. That had nothing to do with 9/11, because if we wanted to deal with 9/11, we would have went after Saudi Arabia, but we didn't. Instead, we stayed in bed with them, still in bed with them. And most of those terrorists were Saudis. Folks forget about that shit. Most of those terrorists were Saudis. Saudis. They'll never make Argentina happy, because Argentinians have no desire to be Americans, and neither do Venezuelans. I don't know why. Because in America's quest to push its Western ideals and culture everywhere, that's also going to be another reason why we constantly have enemies. No, other countries don't have a desire to be Westernized. If they did, they'd already be Westernized. They don't have a desire for that. They like their customs and their traditions. They like the way they do things. They like the way they do things. They don't have a need to change to do things the way they want, that we want things done. America always thinks our way is better than everybody else's way. If that was the case, then we wouldn't have so many people living in poverty. We wouldn't have such low wages. We wouldn't have so much unemployment, so much unaffordable housing, unattainable education. But hey, we ain't supposed to talk about that. I want to tell y'all something. I just saw this story. I didn't know this, but found this out. Okay, so y'all know that in New Mexico, they're currently looking at that Zorro Ranch that Jeffrey Epstein used to own. But back in 2019, Prosecutors asked the officials in New Mexico to stop their investigation into the Zorro Ranch. Because the feds said that they were going to share information that could have led to potential criminal charges. So New Mexico did what the government asked them to do. They ended its investigation. And they provided police reports to the government. And they recorded witness statements and other investigative records. They gave it to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York. And the federal government never gave anything back to New Mexico in terms of information about what was going on, right? And they say that the federal prosecutors essentially gutted New Mexico's investigation into Epstein's Zorro Ranch. Now, they say that the federal prosecutor's office in 2020 sent a letter urging federal prosecutors to seize control of the Zorro Ranch to preserve evidence. But the government didn't do anything. Then the federal prosecutors asked New Mexico to stop its investigation to avoid risk of parallel investigations, creating inconsistent statements. And they say none of the investigative records provided by New Mexico appear to be among the more than 3 million pages of documents released by the Department of Justice. Why? What was in the documents from the New Mexico government that they didn't want us to know about? And New Mexico ended its investigation in July 2019, shortly before Epstein died. In August 2019, while he was in custody. Again, it makes you wonder why at every step of the way, makes you go, why is that? Why would the government not want a local government to look into things that were happening at that ranch? Real talk. Now I want to ask y'all a question on something because I just saw this. So y'all know how AI is coming through like crazy, and these companies are doing all this layoffs, and they're keeping a very skeletal staff. Hold on, you guys, I got to put some more wood in here. They're using a very skeletal staff because they're saying, listen, we don't need all these people. You know, we got AI and we're going to use AI to help us. Y'all, I got to move Bella to the side real quick. So if anything hot come out, it doesn't fall on the queen. You know what I mean? She don't like when I move her to the side. Bella be looking at me like, hold up, ain't nobody say you could touch me? Well, I did, girl. I did, sis. I had to do it for your own good. Now, I'm going to move you back. Look, she allows that little bit of movement, but she don't like it. What they say, but she don't like it. Right. She's sitting over there like, unhand me. She can't stand it. She hates when I do that. But I got to do what I got to do because sometimes, you know, embers or something will fly out of there and I don't want them to fly on her. I'm like, well, you won't move. So, now she getting up walking away because she mad because I moved the cover, but I put it back. Now she over here drinking out of Heidi's bowl. Bella is just more and more disrespectful. The older she gets, the more and more disrespectful. Okay, so I see this story from Citi, right? And Citi is sounding the alarm about AI, about artificial intelligence, right? And they're saying we're going to be heading for deflation if AI causes high unemployment and only benefits a small amount of people. Like, duh, we already knew that. Yes, I'm on YouTube. All you got to do is go to straightfactsnofilter.com. And then over there, that's my website, and it has a link to all my social media spots. And they're saying that, artificial intelligence will only benefit a small elite. We know that. That's why we've been sounding the alarm about AI and saying that AI is just designed, right? Rich people, they want to use AI to not have to pay us. But I don't understand why the companies don't use AI to replace CEOs. CEOs are where the largest amount of investment comes from. If a CEO has a $30 million golden umbrella, if they get fired, how about you stop hiring a CEO and just have your middle managers and your regular employees? They're still going to be cheaper than your CEOs, and use AI to make those decisions. Why not? What do you need those people for? If you got AI, if AI is so smart, the way these people claim, AI is so great, why not use it to make the big decisions? Because you can use it up against all the data that you have to make decisions for your organization that make sense. But that's not what they're doing. Oh, I know AI has no human context, but my point is, Jarvis, they don't give a fuck about AI not having human context when they're using AI to tell it to fire us. So how come they're not using it to replace and fire CEOs? Just go click the link in my profile, Yvette, and that will take you to my website. And at my footer has all my links to my social media, including my YouTube. So Citibank is saying that they think more companies adopting AI are going to eventually lead to higher unemployment. We know that, Citibank, but it says those job losses could later lead the U.S. down a deflationary path. Oh, it is. It is. Right. Yeah, exactly, Trudy. Your golden payout is just your leave, which still ain't enough to sustain you long term. But your CEO gets a $30 million golden parachute. That's not okay. All the money's going to the top. All the money's going to the top. Hold on, I'm checking something because I want to talk about this. Okay, so according to the research, right, wages for U.S. workers have largely stagnated since the 1970s, right? Despite significant productivity gains and economic growth. So money's being made. We're just not getting it. They said high earners and top CEOs saw astronomical pay increases. Since 1978, they've had 1,000% pay increase. I'm going to say it again. 1,000% pay increase for CEOs and high earners since the 70s. Now I'm going to check something else. Just checking something. Right. And, no, exactly, Scorp. And notice how that never trickles down. It never trickles down. Right? Okay. So I said the high wage earners and the CEOs have had 1,000% pay increase since the 70s. Regular workers like you and me, we've had nominal wages. Okay? Real wages have remained largely stagnant for the typical worker. So the typical worker isn't even making a lot more money than they were in the 1970s. When you compare it up against the cost of living, they're not making a whole lot more money. Not at all. They said the typical production or non-supervisory worker has seen hourly wages grow by only 0.7 to 9% since the 70s. Remember, I said CEOs and high wage earners have seen their wages go up 1,000%. So you got 1,000% versus 0.7 to 9%. And then some data sets even suggest real weekly wages are roughly 3.8% lower today than they were at their peak in 1973. Oh, 80K feels like 35K, Johnny, because of taxes and the cost of living. That's why. They say median household income has fared better than individual wages by rising by approximately 32% since the 70s. But that's attributed to the fact that women are working too. Oh, $100,000 ain't no money no more. Remember, in the 80s and 90s, we were all trying to get to 100K because in our minds, once I hit 100K, I'm going to be comfortable. Not even. Even 100K ain't comfortable. That's not comfortable no more. Remember, I told y'all the other day that a new study found that in order to afford children and for your daycare costs not to be above 7% of your pay, you got to make a combined income of over $400,000 a year. Yep, you need over $1 million to retire. And quiet is kept, Tyra. People who retired with $1 million or $2 million in the bank, they about to find out that ain't enough money either to retire. Yeah, you need at least $1.5 million to retire in America and not work and be comfortable. This is why I say most Americans, we're going to work until we die. There's no concept of retirement. The people who got to retire, that was that last grouping. Ain't no more retirement. You're going to work till you die. Look. Trudy is saying minimum wage $7.25. She says, I was making $30 and still struggle. And she's frugal. Look, Nana is 74 years old. Oh, no, she says she's been working with the 74-year-old lady, but that's why. That 74-year-old lady need the money. She ain't got enough money to retire. She can't. She gonna work till she die. That's the thing. You're gonna work until you die. And they're gonna make sure you don't have no health insurance while they do it. They say the median hourly wage rose from $4.44 in 1979 to $20.30 in 2024. That's an increase of about 357%. However, after adjusting for the cost of living, that 1979 wage is equivalent to nearly $19.24 today, meaning the real increase in purchasing power was only about 10%. So your purchasing power as a consumer only increased by 10% since the 70s. That's it. That's it. Now I'm about to check something else. However, the top 1%, their purchasing power has increased by over 300%. So you got 10% purchasing power increase, and they got a 300% purchasing power increase. And you wonder why your government don't work for you. Because it works for them. It works for them. Y'all, that's why you're struggling so much. You're struggling because you're set up to struggle. We're all set up to struggle and fight each other. And fight each other, but not fight the rich who are making money, making money, making money, making money, making money. Some gotta give. Some gotta give. They say income growth between 1975 and 2018, the top 1% saw their real incomes grow by 321%, nearly 3 times faster than overall economic growth. You see why they want you focused on who's in the bathroom, who gets to play sports? But you see why they want you focused on that? Because if you're focused on that stuff, you're not focused on rich people making more and more and more money, buying up everything. That's why they're looking to buy everything. They got all this money. Got to buy something. We got all this money. You see why that's happening? You see why this happened? That's why it's happening. They say the top 1% has tripled over the past 5 decades. Over the past 50 years, the top 1% has tripled, and they held nearly 50 trillion with a T, $50 trillion in wealth. You can't compete with that. You can't compete with that. Why don't they pay taxes? I'm checking something. Checking something else. So if we taxed the rich on that $50 trillion, we would have 500 billion in annual tax revenue. But they don't want to pay taxes. It's not that the money's not there, y'all. The rich don't want to pay taxes. They're making money. They're making money. We would have $500 billion in annual tax revenue just from rich people. But rich people don't want to pay taxes. So instead, rich people buy your government. So that government puts together laws and tax code that stops them from having to pay taxes. See, it don't have to be this way, obviously, but it is this way. Yep, national debt could be resolved, but the rich people don't want to pay their taxes. They'd rather take, to your point, HM, they'd rather take your Social Security. Fuck you in your old age. They don't care about you because your ass gonna be working on Social Security anyway. So they gonna cut it and say, well, we gonna cut your benefits because you working. They say we could have a massive increase in federal tax collection. They say as of 2024, total estate tax, like if they fixed estate taxes so that rich people can't hide their money when they passing it down from getting taxed, we could get another $30 billion from that. So we could have at least $530 billion a year just from rich people. And then you could have health care. You could have affordable housing and good schools and clean water and good roads and great bridges. But you know why you don't? Because rich people don't want to pay taxes. That's all. Rich people don't want to pay taxes. And because rich people don't want to pay taxes, yep, they would still have plenty of money, Lola. But the problem is, to your point, they're greedy. They just don't want to pay. They just don't want to pay. Now, I look something up because I want to know, because you know how they always talk about how bad China is in relation to America, right? Because that's the propaganda, right? So I asked, do the rich have to pay taxes in China? They say yes. The rich in China are required to pay taxes, and authorities have recently intensified efforts to enforce this, especially on offshore income. They even tax them on that shit. They don't care that money ain't in China. They tax them on that shit. They like, hey, you want to hide it somewhere else? That's fine. We're going to tax you on that shit over there too. Because you making money and you going to pay in. They say, they call it a common prosperity in China. And its initiative is to reduce wealth inequality. Okay? America doesn't have this. China has this. Now they say enforcement was historically lax. The government is now targeting the ultra rich for up to 20% taxes on overseas investment gains. So if a rich Chinese businessman has made all this money, let's just say in the American market, the Chinese are taxing them 20% on their American profits. They don't give a fuck that money was made overseas. You're a Chinese citizen, you're going to pay fucking taxes. Boom. They're required to pay taxes on both domestic and foreign income. And individuals with significant offshore assets, often over 10 million, they require them to declare and pay taxes on the foreign investment income. The top individual tax bracket for wages can reach up to 45% in China. I'm going to say it again. If you're rich and you're in that top bracket, their government can tax you up to 45% on your earnings. 45%. But the rich in America get a tax break, right? They say capital gains, they are taxed at a flat 20% tax and is generally applied to income from, for example, dividends, interest, and rentals. Now, there is no wealth tax in China. Like if you inherit wealth, they don't tax that because they've been taxing your ass off the whole time on all that money. So they don't tax when you pass it down. But they are still considering even more reforms, including potential property taxes on a broader scale to increase revenue from the top earners. The government wants more money from rich people there. Yep. Not in America. in America, they say, oh, no, 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 no. We protect the rich here. We can't have you paying pesky taxes. You getting paid. You getting money. They say traditionally, only about 14% of the working population has paid individual income taxes, with the majority of government revenue coming from land sales and value-added taxes. America just likes taxing us. And when I say us, everybody but rich people. Everybody but rich people. They don't like to tax rich people. They don't like it. They don't like it. Something's got to give. But I didn't even realize our numbers were that bad. But they are that damn bad. It shouldn't be, but it is. It shouldn't be, but it is. Wow. Okay, so y'all know Miss Rachel? You know, the lady who all the kids love, Miss Rachel? Well, Miss Rachel tweeted, right? Stop unaliving children. See, that's how you use your influence. She's not afraid to say the quiet part out loud. Miss Rachel, like, fuck it. If me saying this is going to make you stop putting on my programming for your child, then, oh well, because I'm going to say it. You said I blocked you, Autumn. I'm sorry about that, beautiful. What was your ID? Send me a message, Autumn, with your and I apologize for that if I did that by accident. Send me something, send me a message with your other account name so I can unblock it. Yep, Miss Rachel did it. I don't blame Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel saying what needs to be said. She is. She is. She's doing what other aren't willing to do. I'm just looking because I'm seeing some other stuff. I'm just like, what? That doesn't even make any sense at all. That's why I'm looking like, ew. Now, this morning we won't do a live show after this, like an uncensored show after this, but tomorrow we will. Because I got some other research stuff that I got to do this morning, and I got to try to get this podcast finished up this morning too. Actually, no, we're not. We are going to do a live show this morning because I want to ask a question, and I'm going to ask some of this while I'm here before we start to wrap up. Can I ask y'all a question? When you were growing up, at what age did you know what you wanted to be when you grew up? Or do you still not know? I'm asking an honest question. At what age did you know exactly what you wanted to be? Okay, Lori, you say at 15, you knew right at that point, I want to be X, Y, and Z when I grow up. Ooh, 13. Oh, y'all were young. Second grade. Oh my God. 24, 25. Okay. 16, 48 and still figuring it out. 16. Okay. Because that's what I want to talk about in this week's episode of my podcast. Because I started thinking, there's always all this pressure to make a decision and a proclamation about what you want to be when you grow up. And I'm with Trudy. I'm still trying to figure that shit out. And I'm 51. No bullshit. There are a whole lot of things I love to do and that I'm passionate about. But I don't know if I really know what I want to be. And I'm a whole grown up. You say you haven't grown up yet, boss? The paper says I'm grown up. I can act real childish when I want to. But I don't think I think sometimes I knew what I wanted to be, but then I did those things and was like, nah, I don't really like this. You say you blame your ADHD because it can't make up your mind. Yeah, maybe that's it for me because I'm like, Okay, so Carl, you're saying 54 and still figuring it out. You're trying to figure it out at 41. Yeah, that's one of the things that I want to talk about this morning in Patreon, because I wanted to just ask some questions on that, to try to get more details behind, like, when, if ever, did you make those decisions? So, but it looks like some people know early what they want to be. And then others don't. Hold up. I'm making a note for myself. Now, to those of you who knew really early on in your life what you wanted to be, did you end up becoming that? Or did you still end up going in a completely different direction? Because it started me thinking, like, I've always been on this journey to try to figure out what is my purpose in life. Why am I here? And I still haven't figured that out. Oh, you're doing what you want in Scorp. Oh, I'm so happy for you. I wish. You say life is ever changing. Agreed. Life is ever changing. But like, I see people, they say, I knew I wanted to be a doctor since I was 10. And they're like doctors. And I see those people and I'm perplexed, but I'm envious. Like, damn, that must be so cool to know at 10 years old exactly what you wanted to be and be laser focused on that and just do that. But that ain't been my story. Like, I'm still on that journey. Lori, so you say being a teenage mom changed it, right? Because it forced you to have to make choices and stick with those choices. Yeah, because you had someone else depending on you. Boss, you said you didn't have the support to just do what I wanted, and that's okay. That's fair. I didn't have the money kind of to just do what I just wanted. I'm going to tell you, a long time ago when I was growing up, I wanted to be in the arts. I wanted to either be a singer or be in musical theater or an actor or something. But let me tell you something. 30, 40, 50 years ago, there was no universal health care. Technically, there still isn't. But you understand, there was no healthcare exchange. And one of the things I knew early on is that people in the arts always struggled with healthcare. They always struggled to keep a roof over their heads. So it was one of those things that I never wanted that struggle. So I said, I'll get a regular job. And still ended up in that struggle anyway. So I'm like, well, damn, what was the whole point of that? You say life coaches helped me figure it out. And I always wanted to travel. I joined the military. Makes sense. I always tell people if they want to travel, join the military, because that's a guaranteed way to travel and you ain't got to pay for it. Yeah, that's the way it is. You say you walked away from a promising career in the music industry. Wow, Richard. Did you walk away from it so you could do what you really wanted to do, Richard? versus what you fell into or were good at. Because that's this week's episode is figuring out your life's purpose. And if we ever do, you say government job was supposed to be the answer, not right. Yeah, man. It's like, and life throws a curveball at you. Just when you think you want to do X, you realize you don't want to do that. Yeah, the music industry is a dirty industry. And music, honestly, is the last thing on the totem pole. It's really all business and a little bit of music. You say, Oscar says, that's how it was for me being a freelance artist, but the work wasn't steady. Yeah, you love the work. The work is fulfilling, but being hungry ain't, you know, that's the catch. Being hungry ain't fulfilling, you know. So you say you wanted to be a computer tech for the government, Zarvis. That would have been a realistic dream at one time, or goal at one time. You say my state job was my lowest paying job when I first moved from Philly to North Carolina. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I want to talk about in this week's episode, about like goals and dreams and life purpose. Like when you made that decision, and if you ended up even doing the things that you dreamed that you would do, or when you attained it, was it everything that you ever thought it would be? Or did it really turn out to be, nah, this ain't it. I thought it was, but it wasn't. You say, I work a regular job and have my successful business, but I'm tired. It's fair to be tired, baby. Because you know why? We're human. We're human. Oh, you said your sister's career found her. Sometimes it happens like that. Oh, you say Herbie Hancock set you straight. Now that's a great person to set you straight. I love me some Herbie Hancock. Down, 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 down. I'm okay enough now that I have my hobby can just be a hobby. I had to stop trying to monetize passions. That's fair. Sometimes monetizing your passion can make it not be a passion anymore, right? Because monetizing it then requires you to hit certain points at a certain time, right? And it can take the fun out of the exploration, the fun out of doing this thing that I love to do, that is no longer just fun anymore. Why? Because now I got to make money. So I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that this morning on Patreon. Life's passions, and when you knew that this is what you want to be, this is what you want to do with your life, and did you make those things happen? And if you did, do you love what you made happen? Or if you attained it and you didn't like it, why didn't you like it? What about it? What about that thing when you did it made it so that you was like, you know, this is not where I want to be. You know, I thought it was, but now that I'm here, now that I've, you know, figured it out, this is not really what I want for myself. This, you know, to your point about the music business, you got into it and you decided, nah, that's not really my bag. That's not really my goal, my dream for my life. But I honestly really wanted to, there's other things that are way more fulfilling for my life that I want to do instead. You know, and that's me. I'm still on this journey to figure out my my passions. I have a lot of passions, but I feel like I need more focus, or maybe I'm putting too much stress on myself. I don't know. But I figured I'm going to go on this exploration in this week's podcast, because I'm pretty sure I ain't the only person that deals with this, trying to figure out still, am I where I should be? And if I'm not, where the hell am I going? Real talk. Thank you, Miss Dakota. I'm using my talents. The problem is I still feel unfulfilled, and I don't know why. I'm trying to get to the core of that. I don't feel fulfilled, and I don't know why. That's what I'm digging into. And so I was like, hey, I'm probably not the only person that's feeling like this. I'm going to talk about that this week. That's the conversation. So I want us to dig a little deeper this morning in Patreon, because I want to know about your lives. Thank you, woman. Listen, the gift of gab is great, but I ain't got it enough to eat with it. You understand? I need to eat. So, and I wouldn't say that's why I don't feel fulfilled, because even when I had a job and I could eat with it, I didn't feel fulfilled. Trying to find, again, what is my purpose? I don't know. So we're going to talk about that this morning. We're going to talk about that this morning. Listen, I thank y'all for being here this morning with me. I will be back around 5 p.m. this afternoon. Okay. I love you all. Have a great, beautiful, and blessed day. Listen, thank you for the 58,000 likes. We got over 100 shares this morning. I appreciate it. Yeah. One of the things I know I do love to do, I love to learn. I love to learn. Learning is a great thing. It's a fun thing. Even if I can't do anything with it, I just love to learn. So y'all, we're going to chat this morning on Patreon. Listen, I'm going to heat up my coffee. I said coffee, my tea. I just need to nuke this a little bit in the microwave, and I'm going to open this flue a little bit more on the fireplace so I can get my fire a little warmer on my backside. And then we're going to kick it this morning on Patreon for a little bit. Okay. Listen, I love you guys. I appreciate y'all being here this morning. I really do. I do appreciate you, because if there was a time I was sitting on Patreon talking to myself, I was okay. I was sitting on Patreon live talking to myself, but I was making it work. But I appreciate y'all being here, because it makes it even more fun and entertaining for us to share our experiences together. And we're going to share some of that this morning. Certainly. And I want to give a shout out again to Kiera for getting an A on that accounting exam. Okay. Listen, I still say that's an accomplishment, my brother. You got to pat yourself on the back, because there are a whole lot of people in your class that did not get an A on that exam, and they're still sitting there going, the fuck? I studied my ass off. So give yourself the credit and the pat on the back for getting that shit done, because that's not an easy feat. That's not an easy feat. It's that you excelled at it, and you worked hard at it, and you manifested what you wanted to happen. That's what you did. Okay. Listen, I want to send a shout out to my top 5 gifters this morning as I wrap up this morning. Number 1, beautiful Lene. Thank you so much, beautiful. Number 2, handsome Richard Chapman. Thank you so much, handsome. I think it's my first time seeing you here, but don't let it be your last. I've appreciated you sharing your perspective as well. Number 3, Miss Beautiful Shane J all day. Thank you so much, beautiful. Number 4, handsome Kiera. Thank you so much, handsome. Number 5, beautiful Miss Lil Kiki. Thank you so much, beautiful. And a special shout out to beautiful Just Be You, coming in at number 6. Thank y'all so much. I'll see you this afternoon. Right, Kiera, I know you ain't think about it because you was doing the work. That's why you ain't think about it, but you got to pat yourself on the back. Okay? Listen, I'm gonna heat up my tea real quick. Open the flue. I'll see you guys in about 60 seconds on Patreon. Don't let nobody live rent free in your head, folks. Don't feed any trolls. And you can accomplish anything you put your mind to as long as you stay consistent. Peace, everybody. Have a beautiful and blessed day. I'll see you shortly.